Hiya, my name's David. I'm the Wandering Ponderer. I'm down in the recreation park now by the memorial because this is the last video I'm doing before Remembrance Day, which is in a few days' time. It's taken me down here because previously I have done videos on Remembrance Day, but it's mainly about World War II. Reading through the history, the local history of Coggeshall, I discovered that the 8th Battalion of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment were actually billeted in Coggeshall. The Royal Warwickshire Regiment started life way back in 1673. It was raised in December of 1673 by Sir Walter Vane, and they went on to fight in many battles throughout their history. They were in the Battle of the Boyne in 1690, and in 1695 the regiment got their first battle honour at the Siege of Nemea. Throughout its history, the regiment received many honours. The honours continued to be received right through World War I and World War II. The reason for me looking at World War I issue is because not only did I do a video on the first bomb that actually fell in this area where the memorial ground, recreation ground is, but the Royal Warwickshire Regiment, the 8th Battalion, were the ones who tidied up after that bomb fell, and there's a picture of them, and I put those pictures up posing in front of the hole, but they actually cleared up after the Germans done the damage. They were here in Coggeshall. They were billeted in Coggeshall. In 1914 they were here, and they were training. They were in Essex training, ready to be shipped out. And these men became part of Coggeshall. They drank in our pubs. They mingled with the local residents of the town and struck up friendships. And as you can see in the pictures, where the pubs that there were a couple of pubs that I visited, one of which is the Yorkshire Grey, and the second one I looked at was the old Lamb pub in Tilkey Road, which is right next to a brick-built version of the Lamb. But the Lamb pub that I'm interested in is the one that was in the picture, and I went and actually filmed that, albeit in the rain. It's raining, which is why I'm sitting here in a shelter. It's the only opportunity I've got really to do a video, so this is convenient for me because it's a shelter, so nothing's going to get wet. But there's the memorial. Of young Corporal, a William Amy, who was 37 years old and a Lance Corporal. On the 4th of November 1918 at Landrecies, Lance Corporal Amy led his section against a machine gun nest under heavy fire and drove the garrison into a neighbouring farm, finally capturing 50 prisoners and several machine guns. Later, single-handedly, under heavy fire, he attacked a machine gun post in a farmhouse and captured 20 more prisoners. For these efforts, William Amy was awarded the Victoria Cross, the highest and most prestigious award for gallantry in the face of the enemy that can be awarded to a British Commonwealth forces. Amongst the faces you see in these photographs, perhaps one of them is that young Lance Corporal, or maybe even in the marching crowd that are walking out towards Kelvedon. They were here at the Lamb pub, they were here at the Yorkshire Grey, and maybe a few other places in the town that I haven't yet found any information on. If you imagine the year or so that they were here, it didn't take long for them to integrate with people in their downtime and to mingle with the residents, to drink in the pubs with the residents. People would get to know them. And these guys, most of them, had a dark future ahead of them, an unknown future. So I think they made the most of their lives in the time that they had before they were shipped out. On the 22nd of March 1915, the Territorials were on the move and they began shipping them out. And our boys, and I'd call them our boys because they were here a year, they were part of Coggeshall by that time. Our boys were marched out of the town. The last views they had of Coggeshall were as they marched out and marched past all the buildings, and they started to march up Bridge Street. And I'm sure the locals were there to say goodbye. And they were headed to Kelvedon Station. So they marched over the bridge. And you see them marching up Bridge Street in a photograph, and I give you some views that they would have seen, their last views of Coggeshall as they walked out across that bridge, and they walked up the hill on their way to Kelvedon Station. Most of them would never return, but there were some who survived and chose to settle in Coggeshall when they came back. That's how much Coggeshall had an effect on the hearts of these men. And I'm sure they were welcomed with open arms when they were here, because in reality, Coggeshall is a welcoming and lovely place. And it brought tears to my eyes, thinking about it, thinking about what these lads would have seen, and their last day, their last march out of Coggeshall. Remember, thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking with me, and up there somewhere, if you remember, thank you for your comments. I've had lots of kind comments. That's all for this video. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.